Blog Talk Radio.
Tuned in to another episode of Two Lit Tuesdays right here on Endie Fiya with your girl Nakia. That was Mojo Free, yes, with Daughter out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's award-winning Mojo Free. Don't quote me because I don't remember the awards that she won, but yeah, she pulled in about 3 Endie Fiya Music Awards last year. So big ups to Mojo Free out there. New mommy, and I'm still making music and still on her student grind. That's what I love to see. I wanna talk very fast about some things that are coming up and jump right into this interview because I'm super excited. And I'll tell you in a minute why I'm super excited. But as you all know, Father's Day is coming up on Sunday the 16th. And I'm going to delete a whole bunch of people. I'm going to block a whole bunch of people on Facebook. I already see this happening because you started yesterday with this single mothers, you're not fathers bullshit, right? I don't know the predicament, the situation that a lot of these single mothers are in. I don't know how they've had to hold it down. I don't know, but I can speak from experience, and I'm gonna tell you that my kids honor me more on Father's Day than they do on Mother's Day because they know the weight that I pull, right? And they know the positions that their father should be in, but he isn't. All right, so yeah, I already see it. I already see it. It's already in my spirit. I'm not gonna argue with nobody this year. I'm just gonna just block you. All right, and we're gonna be done with it because we're not on the same wavelength. You know what I'm saying? And that's negative energy, and I don't need any more negative energy in my life. All right. So happy Father's Day in advance because we do not have a show on Thursday. So happy Father's Day in advance to all of the fathers, all of the men who are in roles of being a father, and to all of the single mothers out there who have held it down. Some of you from day one. All right, I'm one of them. So happy Father's Day to you as well. You call it what you want to call it, but that's your day as well. All right, so let me get off my high horse because I was getting a little excited there for a minute. Also this weekend, mainly on Saturday, I've been seeing on the 15th, and I'm not talking about that genuine concert that I just got tickets to either. I'm talking about Juneteenth celebrations, right? So for you all who do not know what Juneteenth is, some of you may know it as Juneteenth Independence Day or Freedom Day. It's an American holiday, and it commemorates yearly on June the 19th. So it'll be Wednesday of this year. But the origination of the date was June 19th, 1865, an announcement of the abolition of slavery in the United States of Texas, and more generally the emancipation of enslaved African Americans throughout the former Confederate States of America. Its name is a blend of June and 19th, the date of its celebration. Juneteenth is recognized as a state holiday or special day of observance in 45 states. Right, so a lot of celebrations going on this weekend. Maybe some of you been in the dark and you didn't know about it. Research, Juneteenth celebrations near me. They'll pop up. And make sure that you get in. And if you have children, at this pivotal time in people of color's life, we need to be making observations and holidays like this prevalent in the lives of our children because they are the future generation. So do your research on it. Find an event in your area. Take your kids. Take the neighborhood kids. You know what I'm saying? Share the love. All right? This evening, we have a special guest. Of course, everybody's special when they're on the show with me, but she's extra special because this is her first interview. And those of you who've been rocking with me since day one, like I say day one, because next month will be 3 years of Endie Fiya. I can't believe it. 3 years. We're on season 3 now, with 3 years of Endie Fiya. So for those of you who've been rocking with me since day one, I've gone through a hell of a lot of co-hosts, right? And but my second co-host, his first interview was on Endie Fiya. The first interview that he ever had was on, the show. We've had several guests in the past where this has been their first interview. So it just makes me feel like what I do, even at the end of the day, when I look back and think, was I really productive today, or did I really just sit at my desk and do nothing? It really makes me aware that what you are doing is not being done in vain, right? So I'm talking about romance author Jade Royal. She's raised in New York, and she carries the belief that love is the tie that binds us all. And we about to butt heads right now. I'm going to tell you right now, we about to butt heads because you follow me on social media, you already know how I feel about love, right? So we about to butt heads. I'm going to say that. Add in a flair for the dramatic. The novels of Jade's creations are romantic epicenters, dripping with drama and passion. I like that. I'm full of drama and passion, People be like, how you full of passion, but you got a problem with love? It's a difference. I'm telling you. We're going to talk about it. Me and her, we about to talk about it. This is no holds bar interview right here, so we're going to talk about it, all right? Jade is looking to inspire readers by showcasing the different definitions of love experienced by all walks of life. Her books range from contemporary to erotica and her newly acclaimed paranormal chart toppers. Jade is encompassing romance on all levels and leaving readers hungry for more. Endie Fiya listening audience, our followers and supporters, I present to you this evening my special guest, author Jade Royal. You know what?
Hello.
I forgot to hit the button again. I forget to hit the button. When I do that, I'm supposed to hit the button, and it's supposed to go, woo, and the claps and stuff. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me show you your love right now. All right. Boom. There we go.
Hello.
There we go. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. It just poured. So I'm just like, now it's not, the sun is trying to creep back out, but I was just looking like, really? What's happening? It's pouring, but I'm good. I survived the rain.
That's what's up. No rain my way yet, but this is all off topic, but it has a lot to do with the company that I work for. Were you anywhere near the incident that occurred yesterday?
I was not, no.
All right. Good. So I want to jump right into the interview, and I may get off topic a lot, just because I had not read your bio, so in its entirety. I zoomed in on one word, erotica, and kind of just went from there. But I do want to back up just a little bit and talk about the word love. When it comes to writing from the perspective of a romance author, like your work, is it fiction or is it nonfiction?
It's fiction.
But you are encompassing life ordeals or maybe the experiences of others, what you write, correct?
Yes. So these are things that could actually happen, even though it's a fiction story. These are things that are realistic, certain topics that other people may have experienced. So it's not something that's too far-fetched where it's like, what, this will never happen. So it's fiction, but some of the stuff is like, damn, I had that happen to me before.
Mhm. So are you married?
I am not, girl. I am single like a dollar bill, and I don't know what to do with myself half the time.
So do you find that I'm still talking about the word love now. Do you find when you write, does that, and I know that you write from, a place where you may have been before or a place that you want to go to, but being single, how do you write?
Mm-hmm.
How do you write about love? How do you write about love?
I think about how I would want to feel, or how I would want a man to make me feel, if I met him, the things that I would want him to do, the things that I would do for him. So it's more so an imagination, but also like a desire, like, if I had a man, this is what I think love would be, if we did these things together, or if we showed certain types of affection towards each other. So it goes off of that, and then people around me, friends, family members, I look at their relationships. My sister is in a really very, very good relationship with someone, and I just look at what they have, and I'm like, you know what, that to me, that says love because of the way they treat each other, the way they feel for each other. So I take not only from me and my imagination, but from people who are close around me, who I know experience that love, that taboo word.
Do we know each other? Because you sound like my family, for real. Do you know me?
Do it? Do you know me?
We're going to talk about that later, but I swear you sound like some family. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. When did you first realize when did you first realize that you wanted to be a writer?
Oh man, years ago. I don't even. Well, the story goes. Well, my mother tells me that when I was younger, I used to read everything. So I would get newspapers and clip out articles, and just read them. And she said they would be the most boringest thing, but I would just sit there and read it out loud. And then she started actually buying me books that were appropriate for my imagination. And I believe when I was in elementary school, I think it was the third grade, I I was in a poetry contest that I won first prize for, and I met, I honestly don't remember his title, but he was some consulate high person from Africa, and in third grade, I was like, I'm meeting the king of Africa. Like, I didn't know, like, what he was, but I just know, like, he was, I was just like, the king of Africa, I'm going to meet the king of Africa. So that's when, like, it really started hitting home, like, yo, I'm just going to keep writing because I met the king of Africa, and he liked my poems. So from there, I was just, I did poetry, I did short stories, and I just, kept writing them down. I have notebooks full. And I would say that third grade, that's where it started. And as I grew, as I matured, the stories developed, they matured. And that's where it started. So I was just like, I was always writing, I was always reading. And that's me.
When you sit down to write a story, do you know how it's going to end?
No. Never know how it's going to end. I always have some outlandish and crazy idea of how it's going to end, and 99.9% of the time, that's not how it ends, because then either, the story takes off on its own sometimes, and it ends how it needs to end, but it doesn't, I always plan for certain things, and it just never happens that way. So I just stop planning my endings now and just let it be.
Describe your writing process.
The first thing I do is watch some crazy show, probably like on Lifetime or like ID channel or something. And when I watch those kind of shows, my like imagination starts going. I'm like, this is an interesting thing. And I kind of just start thinking about what is, because, as you said in my bio, one of the things that I bring is, what I try to bring is drama. So I always say, what is the most dramatic thing that could just happen to two normal people right now in this setting? So I try to bring that. And then what I would do is I never start a story without knowing who my characters are. I may not know who they end up being, because characters change from the beginning to the end of the book. I may not know who they end up being, but I know who they are when I start. So if I cannot define, okay, my character is this, that, and she wants this and she wants that, then I do not start a story, because characters are important, and to develop them sometimes it's difficult, and if you don't do it right, it's just not good, and it makes your story really strange. So that's one of the first things. I figure out who these characters are, I build off of them, and then I build a story around them.
How do you stay disciplined and not get distracted? Like, I know for me,
oh boy,
I've been trying to write several books now for a hot minute, and it seems like ever since probably March, I think March or April, I've had the bulk of my guests have been writers or novelists, authors, and I feel like that's what's telling me that you need to stop procrastinating and at least go ahead and put something out. But I got imaginary adult ADD, and I just can't sit still and write, get it all out. But for me, my distraction, like if I had to write erotica, like I would be so distracted because my mind is always on sex anyway. So I couldn't sit still and write anything. So how do you stay disciplined and not get distracted?
It's really hard because, there's the TV, social media, there's a lot. I could be writing one, a paragraph and then end up on social media and be like, how am I on Facebook right now? How did this happen? It's really a sense of what your personal goals are and what you are looking to achieve. So I what I try to do is I reward myself after I complete a goal. So if today I said, I'm going to complete 3 chapters, if I complete that chapter, then I binge on things that I want. Like if I want to watch a certain show or if I want to be on social media, then I'm like, okay, this is my reward because I sat here and I did all this. So it's really up to how focused you can stay and how determined you are to get something done. And most of the time, I'm just very focused, and I know it's hard for people to just stay and just write and do something, but it's just when the story is hot in my head, I'm like, all right, just get it done, and social media later. And I also have people who, the minute I go on Facebook, they're in my inbox now. They're like, I see you posting, get the hell off Facebook. What are you doing? And I'm like, dang, caught. So I just have to I fall back. And there's multiple people, and they just like, well, you on Facebook, but you ain't finished the chapter yet. And I'm like, damn, can I get a break?
That's the type of people that you want supporting you. Those that are going to motivate you, but also hold you accountable for what it is that you're setting forth to do. Like I need that type of person for the gym, because I can't get motivated to go.
If you find that person, send them over here too, because girl. I told myself I was gonna be looking right for the beach, and guess what? I don't look like.
Right.
So
maybe by the end of the summer or beginning of the summer next year, I don't know. I'm pushing for winter. Like I always want that winter body,
Right. Like, you know what? It's winter time. I have a whole winter to get my summer body ready.
There you go. What's the most difficult thing about writing characters from the opposite sex perspective?
Because you never know what they be thinking. Like, okay, if I'm writing about a man, because sometimes men, I don't want to, look, y'all be doing the most. And you try to put yourself in their shoes and try to figure out, like, why would he lie? Let me figure out a good enough reason so it sounds legit. And then as a female and I'm writing, I'm like, he's so full of shit, man. And I have to just fake it and just be like, you know what, I gotta be really strong point about what this man wants. But it's hard. Or then sometimes I'll just go to a male friend and be like, look, this is a situation. What is your response? And their first response is usually what I take. I don't take revisits, rewrites. They be like, oh wait, no, you're gonna put in the book. Wait, I'm like, nope, you already gave me an answer. So I usually take their answer and reformulate it, but keep it the same thing that they said, but just fit it to my character. And that'd be it. If and then I give it to them to read, like, what, does this sound too lame for a man? That's supposed to be cool or whatever, because I'm a little lame sometimes, but that's the best way.
Now, how do you select the characters?
Select the character as in who they are?
Yeah.
I think about what the story I want to tell through the eyes of the character, or what people might want to read. For instance, one of my books is about a woman who's, she's a nice, big, wholesome girl, but her boyfriend does not appreciate her to be that way. And I feel like some women who are thicker, who are bigger, they might have, certain insecurities. And I was just like, it's okay sometimes to feel that insecure, but you have to also find power in, being confident about who you are. So I wanted to write about that female who starts off insecure and finds her power, finds her, confidence. Like, I don't need you. Like, I'm cool with, by myself. Fat, all right? If you want to call me fat, go ahead. I'm proud. So I wanted to write that kind of character because, I felt like people could relate with what she goes through in a way to find herself. So I think about what's relatable to certain people, and make sure that those people also have a voice, because some books you only read about certain things and you don't feel like, well, I could relate to this book because it's, there's certain things that happen, and that's happened also in my life. And that's really the line that we push between, the fiction and the reality, because it is fiction, but we want people to feel like, yeah, I felt that down to my bones. So that's what I try to do when I create my characters.
Just being right there, do you try to be more original with what you write, or do you deliver to the readers what they want to read?
It's half and half. Like, you always want to give the reader what they want, but you also want to stay true to who you are. So I try to do both. I try to make sure that, okay, I'm not just, because at the end of the day, these readers, they're supporting you, and you want them to feel like, okay, well, you're listening to them, and you're taking their words into consideration, because then they feel appreciated. So I try to do both. The word original, sometimes I struggle with that word, only because it's some of the things that we are writing, I wouldn't call the topics original, because it's not new. So if I'm talking about a woman who found out her husband was cheating, that is not an original topic. That is something we deal with every day. At least one woman today probably dealt with that. It's not an original topic. The story in itself and how it unfolds, that is the original part, because I made it up like, okay, well, we'll see what she does now. So when some people say, like, keeping it original, I think about that. I'm like, well, nothing is really ever original, because there's a lot of people writing about it. And just like I'm writing about that cheating husband, 50 other people are also writing about that cheating husband. So we have to kind of find ways to take those same topics and make them ours. That's, I guess, in our writing style, or how we develop stories, that becomes unique to us. So when, I say, like, I'm focusing on the love, the passion, the drama, people can recognize, well, this is a Jade Royal book, because look at all this sappy stuff going on here. And that's just
right.
me.
Got you. Well, if you're just tuning in, you're live right here on Endie Fiya, Tulip Tuesdays with Nakia and our special guest, author Jade Royal. I give Jade the opportunity to grab a sip of water, rest her mouth a little bit. This right here is Sadrina, from head to the floor.
You know I want you, baby. You can see it in my eyes. Your love so amazing. Oh, what a surprise. You know how I want you, baby. You know I do. You know I need you, baby. Gotta tell the truth. From the bed to the floor, till I can't take you no more. From the bed to the floor, till I can't take you no more. From the bed to the floor, till I can't take you no more. From the bed to the floor. With a bill gangsta crazy, I'm going overdrive. Oh, you'll joyride, baby. Off your thrill, I'm high. You know I need you, baby. You know I do. You know I need you, baby. Gotta tell the truth. From the bed to the floor, till I can't take it no more. From the bed to the floor, till I can't take it no more. From the bed to the floor, till I can't take it no more. From the bed
Hey yo, what's good? It's your boy Jerusalem from the Scarfella Music Group, and you on the air with the hottest station, Endie Fiya, with your host, Lil Timmy and Nakia, right here on the station bringing you all the hottest hip hop hits. Endie Fiya, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it.
Yes, if you're just tuning in, you're live right here on Two Lit Tuesdays on Endie Fiya with your host, Nakia. And that was Sadrina, my homegirl from Atlanta with Bed to Floor. Yeah, just put a name in. Put in Sadrina, Cedrina. Her name will pop up. All of her music, download it, listen to it, and become an addict of Sadrina. And thank you, Jerusalem, for that drop as well. You're listening live right here on Endie Fiya tonight with our special guest, romance author, Jade Royal. Now, we've been talking about Jade and her, process of writing and how she started and how she, names the characters or comes up with the characters. We got the foundation, all right? So now I want to jump right into what actually goes into what she's writing. And I told you earlier, like, I want to talk about, I don't care about the paranormal. I don't care. That doesn't fascinate me at all. And contemporary, that really doesn't fascinate me either. But the erotica, yes. Why this genre? Let me just start right there. Why this genre?
I don't know. I wanted to write something sexy, like, and I had the idea, and I was like, you know what? Let me just. The character that I wanted to write about was a woman who. She's small. She's petite. She's bright smile. Long hair, and people look at her and be like, oh, she's so cute. And then she will just be like, what? I'm a grown-ass woman. This is not cute. So men tend to treat her like she's frail, and she likes to handle the big ones. She likes to be like, look, if you're not coming with the thunder, then I don't want it. And they just keep petting her and treating her like she's going to break. And she's really on a search for a man. She's like, I need a man that's going to take me to hell and back and then shoot me up to the heavens. I don't want because these guys, they just treat me, they're not doing it right. And I'm trying to tell them, but they don't want to listen. Because they think that I don't know what I want, and I know what I want. So she's really on that search. So I wanted to write about that woman. I didn't necessarily think that it would be erotic. It was just like, you know what, she gotta find what she gotta find. And there's a lot of things that came into play for that book. But the basis of it was she needs to find somebody that's gonna satisfy her, and she found it.
Now, this book is already out?
It is. It is called Seduced. It's a 2-part series. So it's book 1 and book 2 is completed, and it's on Amazon.
All right, guys. You heard of Seduced, 2 parts, and it's available on Amazon. So make sure that you jump on. I know I'm going to jump on it. So to write erotica, you yourself, do you have to, does some part of you have to be a little bit bad, just a little bit? Or do you just have to have a really vivid imagination? Or do you just have to look at other people's lives and think, I'm going to twist this just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of spice, to what I've seen, in other people's relationships. How do you write erotica?
Okay. Well, writing erotica is a difficult genre, at least to me, because of all the components that I put in my book. Sometimes it might not come off as erotica, or it might have like a mixture of genres, but erotica, like some people is erotica just sex every chapter, every sentence, or is erotica what is erotica? So some people erotica means different things. For me to write it, I'm just saying that a vivid imagination is very, very useful. Now, half the stuff I write about, homegirl don't do. So I just have to take myself there in my head. I'm like, you know what? let's flip on it. Let's turn around and do a cartwheel on it or something, just to get it. You can have that imagination and you could just go there. Of course, I love to take from stories from real life people that I know. I like to include it because I feel like that adds to the realistic effect of my books. So my friends, my sisters especially, my sisters love to tell stories, and they are, they just be all they out. They be like, look, this what happened, and I'm like, let me hear, and it ends up in a book, and I'm like, well, half the time when people talk to me, I'm like, disclaimer, you might be in a book because this is a juicy story right here. So I use my imagination, and then I take from, experiences of people that tell me things that happen, and I'm just like, ooh, that was juicy. That sounds like, it could be a really good scene, and, I mash it up, I flip it, I do a whole bunch of stuff, and I just, fit it into the book. A lot of people, some people think that, because you write erotica, like you're going out and doing this erotic stuff every night. And I was like, and if you are, okay, that's fine. Where you gonna? I mean, so what? And sometimes it'll be the innocent of people who write erotica. And that's just because they have fantasies. They think like, I want to do that one day, or that sounds good to do. It's just erotica is not, held back for anybody. So I think that anybody could write it, and anybody, whether you do it or you don't, is there. Because you could really just pull it out of, you could pull anything out. Like, he pulled this out, he did that. Whipped cream, strawberries, cartwheels, twerking, city girls, all of it, all in there.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I'm just putting myself in your shoes, and like, I know there's authors that they write, and I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but I feel that it is important for me as a soon-to-be author, that there are a lot of people who do not write under their own name, or they might write under a version of their name. Now, I got an author that's coming up in a couple of weeks who I'm kind of scared to have her on the show, because just in the stuff that she posts on a daily basis, I already know what her mind is. I'm scared as shit to have her on the show. And I think all that she writes is erotica. I'm scared to have her on the show, but I'm not, because I think it'll just open up me to a place that I'm trying to get to. But I feel like and I did this. You mentioned a disclaimer. Like, I did this earlier. The latter part of last week. I put a question out on Facebook, and I asked people, like, what are their addictions, right? And so if you answer with the wrong response, like if you said to me, like, food, I don't care about food because I'm not writing about food. Like, I want to know that you're addicted to drugs, and I want to know that you're addicted to, like, stick women. And I want to shockingly, nobody said sex. That's what I was waiting on. But, alcohol, but people were so vocal when I, talked to them one-on-one. Their responses were, they didn't hold back in anything that they stated. Then I let them know that, I'm just gathering information for, a book idea. And I just want, feedback from other individuals. And when I said that, then they was really open, because they wanted to tell me, like, everything and how they're, because I gave them questions like, how does your addiction affect you? And, does it affect your sex life? And, how's it affected, your family, that type of thing. But I did put that out there, that, you may read your responses in a book. I won't drop names, but, and they were all like, I don't care. drop my name. Drop my name. You know what I mean? But I feel like, yo, as twisted as my life is, like I don't have to use a vivid imagination, because everything I want to write about, I've done it. Like I'm grown, you know what I mean? Like, and I want to write about everything, because I feel like, and I know there's probably people out there who write in this genre and they have gone through a lot and they put a twist on it, you know. But I feel like I need to just get it out, like, you know what I mean? Just get it out and move on. But I definitely think I'm gonna have to like come up with a name, because I'm not gonna be able to write under my name. Like my mother's a minister, and that's not gonna look good. You know what I mean? The people in the church will be like, "What the hell is she talking about?" You know what I'm saying? What is she talking about? So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to grab a pseudonym and write up under that for real. But I know there are authors who write. Go ahead.
Writing certain topics. People always say like, oh, I need, you know, a different name, because I'm gonna write about this topic, and you know, you don't wanna, you know, disrespect anybody or make anybody feel any type of way. And that's fine. It's just that sometimes I feel like if you don't want to necessarily hide, I guess, because I you know, things like erotica, unlike, because it's not, you can't say like, oh well, this is based off my life. You can just write a story, and you know, you don't have to say like, oh well, this is based off me or whatever. People, you know, readers will take it as how they interpret it. I just think that people should just stop being ashamed, not ashamed because they're not ashamed to write it, but ashamed for certain people to see it. And, you know, when one of my books, it's, you know, it had a sex scene in it, and, you know, this is the first book my mother is reading, and she read it, and I was just like, you know, and then she, at the time, I was at home with her, and she, like, came into the room, and she's like, wait a minute. I was like, And she's like, what is this? I was like, what do you mean it's a book? And then she's like, oh, I didn't know you know about all this sex stuff. And I'm like, whoa, I am 27. What are you talking about? You didn't know I know about sex. This makes sense. So it was a little embarrassing, but then it was just like, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'm not hiding. It's just, so it was a little weird. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's reading this whole sex scene and she's like into it. I'm like, oh dear. But I just learned to I'm just gonna accept it. Whoever reads it, they reading it and they know it's me. It is what it is. But I understand what you're saying, you know, about the church. And I'm not sure if I know any authors who are closely related to the church that have written erotica, but it's a genre that people love to read.
I don't.
Just get in there.
Everyone that I've had on the show who, and now I tiptoe around those people because, like, I didn't know them prior to, you know, like a friend of a friend being like, hey, yo, this is the show you need to get on the show. And then I found out that they're Christian fiction authors, and I don't really know what to talk about. And when I, you know, come across them on Facebook, you know, I want to tiptoe around what I say. But then I realized, you know, that's why I got 2 pages for that reason right there. So that on the main page, I can say whatever the hell I want to say. I can be me. You know what I mean? And then on the other page, the backup page, I just tone it down, you know, just a little bit. But I just feel like, when I was younger, I always had to write in journals because I kept so much bottled in. And so I always had to write it out, you know, so that I would just, you know, my migraines wouldn't be so bad. I wouldn't be so stressed out. I wrote everything in journals. But I feel like now I have so much that's pent up in me that it needs to get out. And these are stories that I feel like people need to read, not only the erotica, but I feel like, you know, my life stories, these are issues that people need to read about, that they need to be aware of, people that don't realize how they can overcome certain situations. You know what I'm saying? I believe I can be one who can put that out there and they can read about it. And so, but I do feel like I need to mask, you know, just a little bit because some people may have known, but they may not have known to the extent that I'm about to put it out there. You know what I mean? So I need to come up with a name. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come up with a name, and we're going to go from there. What was one of the most surprising discoveries for you in creating your books?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think the most surprising. I think that I was surprised in how many people, how many of our Black audience, Black readers, actually want to read paranormal books. Because I'm guess it's not a genre that is heavily saturated with Black authors. So when I wrote my first paranormal, it was because I was, I said to myself, I love to read the genre because I like the mystery and I like the romance that's in the books. But all these white characters, I'm just trying, I want to read about a nice Black man saving the day and not as some atypical character that's a shadow or something that they're always describing them as. And I'm like, why? So that's when I was just like, let me see if I can write this book. So I wrote that paranormal book, and, when I made a post about it, I've got so many readers that was like, I'm excited for this book because there's not enough books catered to Black readers that are paranormal. So that was really one of the most surprising things, and I found like this whole niche of readers who were just like, give me that book, I'm going to read it. So that was one of the most surprising things that I've encountered, and it also pushed my level of imagination. It made me realize how difficult it is to write that kind of stuff, but it also made me appreciate how easy it is to kind of be an author when it comes to having a vision and just putting it down on paper and just, telling that story. And I felt good to kind of give readers something that they felt like they weren't getting in large numbers. So I'm just, there's a good bunch of us that write paranormal, and, I'm glad to be a part of that. So people feel like, readers feel like, oh, well, I have more than just 3 or 4 authors that's going to give me those types of books. So that's probably one of the most surprising things that I've gone through.
And would you say that is one thing in your writing that you never would have thought you would have done?
Yes. I actually remember talking to my aunt, and we both are heavy readers, and we both read paranormal romance. And she said, because she knows I write, so she said, why don't you try to write one of these books? And I said to her exactly like, what? I cannot. This is too much. Like, it's too much intertwining and mystery and, who did it and, all this stuff that I didn't see myself being able to do it, because to create a whole new world where, it's not like a fiction book with realistic elements that you can be like, oh, well, this could happen to somebody. I'm talking about like a vampire or something, and those are not real. So it's like, it was very hard for me to imagine in my head writing about it. Like I didn't feel like I could do it. So when I did it, I went to her and I said, hey, guess what I wrote? And she was like, you finally did it. And this was years apart, years. And it really made me sit back and think that I actually grew as an author because I was able to expand my imagination to get this thing done, because 5 years ago, this was impossible for me. I was like, I cannot do that. And to be able to do it today, it's like a little, it's like a little triumph for me. I'm like, yeah, I did it.
I think that would probably answer my next question, but you can expound upon that. What does literary success look like to you?
Literary success. I would say growth from book 1 to your last book. Is there a level of growth that you've reached in terms of how you write, your style. Have you established who you really are? Because sometimes the first book is always, so, well, I have a story to tell. I'm just going to tell it. And then you say, well, I like writing these stories. Let me continue. So then you start to really learn your craft and understand who you are as a writer. So I feel like that is, a major part of literary success. Secondly, I would say that if you have, even if it's just one, if you post your book link or someone messages you or you read a review and they're like, oh my goodness, I love that book, like that is a success, because you're looking, when you put a book out, to move people, to get people, you want people to like your work, you want people to be like, damn, that was a good book. And to have at least one person reach out to you and do that is really, like, that's a success in itself, because everyone could be like, I ate it, or I didn't do it, I didn't like it, and you just, that one person's like, you know what, this is a good ass book, I can't wait to read more from you. Now, and I think I've had readers say to me, like, I'm gonna be a fan for life now. Like, that is success, and it's hard to come by certain readers who are gonna be with you forever, or who says, like, I'm gonna read every book you put out. I don't care what genre it is. And as someone who writes multi-genres, that's important, because I want to feel like, okay, well, this person, she's not just invested in my book, she's invested in me as a brand, or me as a writer, not just, oh, well, she wrote that kind of book, I don't like, it's not my genre, I'm not gonna read it. So having someone invested in who you are as an author, not just your books, that's also, I think, part of success, being successful.
What one thing would you give up to be a better writer?
What one thing I would give up? Woo! Okay. To be a better writer, what's one thing I would give up? Oh, boy. I would give up. Oh, man. What would I give up? I'm trying to think. Man, this is a tough one. I think that I would give up all the. I don't know. It's hard to say what I would give up, because already as a writer you give up certain things in terms of what you're going to commit to, or the time that you're going to commit to writing a novel, the money that you're going to put into it, the hard work you're going to put into it. So you're already giving up a lot. I would give up my time completely, day, night, whatever it is, to be a better writer. I give myself over to anything that I have to do. That's why when it comes to writing books and being like, okay, well, I can't sit in one place and write this book for this long, I get distracted, that's me giving up. No, I give up that distraction. I give up that, oh, let me go hang out with my friends because I just feel like it. I give up that to, be writing, to be reading, to learn, to develop my craft. And, I'm not somebody that has, like, a high social life anyway, so it's like, I just put myself full force into it. So everything that comes with the writing, I try to dive into it so deeply that, it really becomes me. And I'm not just saying, like, I'm an author today, but maybe tomorrow I'm not. I'm an author all the time. You can see me walking down the street. That is who I am.
What one piece of advice could you offer to someone who may be listening now, or who may come back and listen to a playback show, who, they got the pen, they got the paper, they got the notes from the laptop, but they don't know where to go from there? what piece of advice could you offer to this aspiring writer or author?
I would say don't think about necessarily what you feel like people are going to want to read or how you feel like you should be writing your book because you're putting it out to the world. Think about what it is that you want, like the story that you're going to create, and just write it. Oftentimes, we write our best work when we're not thinking about, oh my goodness, are people going to like it? Or, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm putting this book out for everybody to read. For someone that's never been published, it's hard because you get into your head and you're like, oh, I'm so nervous. I can't have people read this because now they're going to know, how I write. They might critique, they might do this, but you kind of have to let all that go and just be who you want to be. So if you're going to write, that romance, and people tell me all the time, like, oh, why don't you write something different? I'm like, no, love is love. It must happen. So I just write it, and I allow myself to feel what the characters feel, and I really get into the story. So I would say, don't worry about what nobody got to say, sis. Just write what you want, and it will flow. Like, it will flow once you let go of anything that's overbearing on you, everything that doubts you, any negativity. Just let it go, and the words will flow.
There you have it. I do want to give you the opportunity to now to go ahead and get your contact information out, all of your social media information out, so that anyone who's listening now or who may come back and listen to a playback show, if they want to, I don't know, if they want to give you some character ideas, if they want to, of course, purchase your books, if they want, I don't know, for whatever reason they want to, get in contact with you, the floor is yours for you to go ahead and get all the information out.
Okay, so you can find my author page on Facebook, romanceauthor.jade Royal. That is my Facebook author page, romanceauthor.jade Royal. You can also follow me on Instagram, and on Instagram, I go by authorjade_Royal. And lastly, my Twitter, you can find me on Twitter at Royally Romantic. That is Royally Romantic. Or if you want to email me, that's authorjaderoyal@yahoo.com. I accept all emails, all friend requests, likes on my author page, tweets, Instagram friends, followers. I accept all. You can talk to me. I'm very open and welcoming to conversation.
There you have it.
And you can follow me on Amazon.
On Amazon as well. That's right. When you go over there to purchase your book. Yes.
Yes.
I want to take the time now to thank you so much for being here with me this evening. You could have been anywhere, but you so graciously blessed me with your presence here on Endie Fiya this evening. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure that you're following.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Once you're on the show, your family, so you're welcome back anytime. Make sure you're following the show on all social media platforms at Endie Fiya. That's ENDIEFIYA. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms. Girl in Motion, GRLNMOTION. No show this Thursday. This mommy will be on the campus of East Carolina University with her upcoming freshmen for new student orientation for the next 2 days. So wish us safe travels as we depart early in the morning. We will be back here on next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with author Asira. Yes. All right, so make sure you're tuning in. And then on next Thursday, we actually got some music, guys. Got some music. The hip-hop group New Wave will be here on next Thursday. So as always, I want to leave you with a quote. When you make music or write, or create, make sure you put it in. 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 Make sure you It's really your job to have mind-blowing, irresponsible, condomless sex with whatever idea it is you're writing about at the time. That's Lady Gaga. Until next Tuesday, and again, happy Father's Day. Have a good night.